Salve to Discipuli, this is Magister Buddy with the Stage 29 lesson on present and imperfect passives. These are our different categories that we know within verbs: person, number, tense, voice, and mood. A new mood is what we are learning now. So up until now we've only known active verbs. Now we will know passive verbs as well. Thankfully we're only learning them in the present and the imperfect tenses to start off with. This is what the present looks like with the active compared right next to the passive. So ost, mustis, nt, those are your active personal endings. Or ris, tur, mor, mini, untur, those are our passive personal endings. The reason why the A is in a different color here is because that's your thematic vowel. That lets you know that you're looking at a first conjugation verb. So your base plus your thematic vowel plus your ending, that lets you know that for this one you're looking at the active present tense. Over here, that combination lets you know that you're looking at the passive present tense. And then with our imperfects, this is the version that we've known for quite some time. So again, we've got our thematic vowel here. We've got our BA, that's our tense indicator. Lets us know we're dealing with the imperfect. And then we have our personal endings, specifically our active personal endings. So M, ST, mustis, NT. Over here, we've got our thematic vowel A, just like in the active. We've got our BA telling us what tense we're in. We're in the imperfect, but our personal endings are different. So our, ris, tur, mor, mini, untur. Those are our passive personal endings. So I carry, I am being carried. I was carrying, I was being carried. You are carrying, you are being carried. You were carrying, you were being carried. Here's all of the English of that exact same verb laid out, so you can take some time and study it if needed. Let's look at some sentences. So what is the point of the active versus passive? Active verbs are when the subject is doing the verb. Passive verbs are when the subject is receiving the action of the verb. Think of a passive verb where the subject is just sitting there, relaxing, being very passive, not doing anything. Things are being done to the subject. All right, so for example, the boy throws the ball. Throws is the verb. The subject here, the boy, is doing the verb. But here, the ball is thrown by the boy. The subject is the ball, but the ball is receiving the action of the verb. Grumio makes dinner. Our subject is doing the verb. Grumio is doing the making. Dinner is made by Grumio. Dinner is receiving the action. Dinner, our subject, is being made. Let's look at some examples in Latin. Puer clamorem audit, the boy hears the shout. Clamor a puero auditor, the shout is heard by the boy. Ancilla vinem fundebat, the slave girl was pouring the wine. Vinem ab ancilla fundebatur, the wine was being poured by the slave girl. All right, let's do some example sentences or some practice sentences. Go ahead and copy the sentences down, underline the modifiers, draw arrows to their antecedents, put parentheses around prep phrases, label every verb and every passive verb. For now, I encourage you to put a PV for your passive verbs, just a little bit of an extra indicator. The rest is should be old hat by now, and then write out a translation. All right, so this first sentence here, we've got an adjective modifying kainom. We've got a nominative subject, an accusative direct object, an adverb, and a regular old verb, active verb. The cook is now preparing our dinner. Let's switch it around a little bit. We've got a prep phrase here. Nostra is again an adjective modifying kaina. We've got a nominative subject, an adverb, and a passive verb. So our dinner is now being prepared by the cook. All right, we've got an adjective here, multa modifying scalera. Hoc is modifying urbe, and together this is a prep phrase. A nominative subject, adverb, And this untur here lets us know that we're dealing with a passive verb. Many crimes are committed every day in this city. We don't know by whom, we just know that the crimes are being committed every day. All right, we've got a nominative subject, we've got an accusative direct object, and a verb. So the friends were greeting the candidates. Let's switch it around a little bit. Ab amicis is now a prep phrase. Before it was the subject, now it's a prep phrase. Candidati, this is our subject. Before it was the direct object, now it's the subject. And here's a passive verb. So before it was active, now it's passive. So the candidates were being greeted by the friends. All right, here we've got a couple of prep phrases. We've got a nominative subject and a passive verb. So the story was being, actually Fabula and Agabator, the play was being acted by the actors in the theater. Or the play was being acted in the theater by the actors. There's a couple of different ways that you could do that. All right, Discipuli, remember, the subject is doing an active verb, but the subject is receiving a passive verb. Memorize your passive personal endings. Wale to Discipuli.